Okay, hello everybody. Okay, we have some people online. We have some people in studio. Very good. People from online, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so today we're talking about bone and bone health and nutrition. Two things seem to be different, but they're very, very closely related. One tags along with the other one. Okay, so understanding bone health. That's the idea for today. What we can do for our bones to keep them strong, what we can eat to keep them strong. That's our agenda for today. Our bones are living tissues, even though we think that they don't die in anything, and that's what we usually find after dinosaurs died. But it is a living tissue. It can grow, it can get stronger, it can get weaker. It should have certain plasticity. Everybody believes that the bone is rigid, not movable, but it is actually has a certain levels of plasticity. When it's actually losing that plasticity, when it's usually getting demineralized, losing minerals, that's when it's becoming hard and fragile. Same as your glass. You drop it, it doesn't have a plasticity to absorb the shock, it breaks. And also we're gonna talk about what factors help us to make sure that our bones are healthy and plastic as we need it. So what are factors affecting it? It's your level of activity in your life, level of your nutrition, and genetics. We're gonna start with the nutritions. We're gonna start with the nutritions, what we need to eat to make sure that we have everything that we need in our body to make sure that everything is being properly absorbed, and our body simply have those building blocks to deliver into the bone to make sure it's strong and healthy. So one of them is calcium. Adults need about 1,200 milligrams daily. Keep in mind, this is just for the information. It's not indication for taking. Therefore, even simple things as calcium may be adverse for you, depends on your comorbidities, other conditions that you're suffering from. So everything that you think that, hey, I might missing, before you start taking, you want to make sure you're speaking with your physician before you take anything out of this recommended, out of this list that we discussed. So calcium is one. Where we can find calcium? In our milk, yogurt, cheese, greens. Could have thought kale and broccoli has calcium. Lemons, it's not on the list, but also juices such as orange juice and cereals. I would say juices and cereals not the best sources for calcium because there's other elements involved in that. Vitamin D helps us body to absorb calcium. So imagine as a calcium is being one of molecule, has getting into the body. Before it's being absorbed and taken into the body, it has to be carried by something into the cell before it being delivered to the bone and actually mounted like that brick. So vitamin D using that role. So for example, you might have a lot of calcium, very little vitamin D. You have a lot of calcium in your blood, but you do not have a lot of calcium in your body because you don't have those vessels that will carry it to the goal it's needed. That's why it's frequently supplements is being done with the mix. You can see calcium, magnesium, zinc plus D, or D3 and calcium. So all of that is being delivered. And important to have it in the body within proper limits. So vitamin D usually recommended for adults between 800 to 1,000. Also keep in mind, vitamin D is going to be depends where you're from, what's your genetics, what's your intensity. Somebody from Egypt, for example, they might need double dose of vitamin D to live in New York versus somebody who was raised and born in New York.
Right.
So it's all combinations also on your genetics as well. So you want to make sure that, as I say one more time, it's never enough to say, speak with your physicians who already know your consistent medication list and can compare what elements you're already consuming. Because if you're saying, hey, vitamin D sounds good, I want to take it, but I'm also taking multivitamins. Somebody qualified should be checked checking your multivitamins, because usually it's already have a certain levels, because even too much of a good thing, not a good thing. So magnesium, I'm sorry, where we can find vitamin D, fatty fish such as salmon, different foods, supplements. In general, you have a lot of, even beer has a little bit of vitamin D, but as I said, not the best source.
Yeah.
Beer, but it's a small quantities, doesn't mean we have to go drunk all the time. So it just, if you need that convincing element to get a cup. But keep in mind, alcohol overall is not good. We're gonna go to that. Magnesium support bone structure and works with calcium. So it's also making sure that that calcium stays in the bone. But also, it's very good to be found in nuts such as almond, cashew, seeds, whole grains. That's the sources where you can find. Proteins, important. Who could have thought? Proteins for bones, but yes, it is important for the bones as well, not only for muscles. It's not that one vitamin works exclusively for one thing. They hitting multiple things. All this four that I just mentioned also very good for the bone, for the muscles. And if anything, muscle consumes more vitamin, more calcium than the bones itself, because it's important transmitting element for opening and closing channels in the cell walls for the muscle contraction and expansion. So proteins important for maintaining bone density. Aim for about 46 to 56 gram daily. In general, you can always saying like, I eat so many sausages or burger patties or a steak. In general, like more or less, you can always Google how many proteins it is. Steak, it could be 20 grams, between 15 and 20 grams. If it's a chicken, obviously it's less. So more proteins in the red meat. Sources: lean meats, fish, dairy, and nuts. Vitamin K helps in bone mineralization, meaning upkeep the minerals inside of the bone so it doesn't get weaker or fragile, as we said in the beginning. Leafy greens such as spinach and kale, broccoli, fermented food such as natto. I honestly don't know what is natto, maybe somebody does. Coleslaw also, but coleslaw without mayonnaise, just a cabbage, sour cabbage. Everyday food, so in general, what you can eat in general to get that vitamins naturally, because over time it's a little bit harder for the body to absorb the vitamins from food, and especially if we tending to fall into routine diet. Hey, I'm having cereals in the morning, some soup in the lunch, and some pasta in the evening. We robbing ourselves from needed nutrition. So that's also very important to have versatile diet, eating as much of different things as possible, and then also to understand that we also will touch up what is to avoid. So dairy products, low-fat milk, yogurts and cheeses, lots of vitamin D, leafy greens, kale, green spinach, broccoli, rich in calcium, magnesium, vitamin K. What we do, K for keeping the mineralization in the body. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, trout, great for you. Also keep in mind, if you're liking salmon and tuna, all of that, they're heavy in heavy metals. So you're looking for more white fish as well, so trout will be a great choice. Nuts and seeds, almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, sesame seeds. Make sure you're not having it in the milk chocolate dip. We're talking nuts plain, without the dip. High in magnesium and healthy fats. Legumes, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, great sources for protein and magnesium. They're usually those who are vegetarian or staying on a vegetarian diet, they tend to get their proteins from these sources. Fortified food, eat almond, soy, cereals. My personal things is like to stay away a little bit from orange juices and cereals because they high in sugar and carbs that you don't need. So those who like sugar, like cereals, even if it's a minimal sugar or sugar substitute, still minimize it to the point that you avoiding it if possible. I understand we all like them, but it's better without them. Whole grains, quinoa, brown rice, whole grain breads, provide magnesium and other essentials. Also very rich in,
They wanna eat, that's what they do.
I lost the word,
But I see that it's.
in fiber. Very rich in fiber, that's important for your bowel health to get clean. Imagine that fiber is as a sponge, goes through your organs, cleans everything up, takes everything, whatever stocks and taking out of the body. I would say multigrain is great. Yeah, I would combine it either. Like both of them great. What you're looking in the bread, you're looking in the bread like to have normal ingredients. Because if you have 25 different ingredients and it's not different grains like if in multigrain, but it has like some rubber, some puffer, some whitening or bleaches or anything like that, that's something you want to avoid. But if you're getting high quality multigrain or whole wheat, do whatever you like best. So it's more about like sometimes looking at the ingredients. For example, yesterday I got some potato already pre-cut, like for the French fries for air fryer. There's like they had a small essay as an ingredient list. That's obviously you don't take. So for example, sometimes I like to eat chips. If you're gonna take simple chips, you wanna make sure that it's always cooked on avocado oil because it's have a high temperature level, so it can sustain the frying. That's a more or less healthier one. Because if it's like vegetable oils, even though it sounds okay, but it's not good for you. Those oils are very bad and they're heavy for the body and they're damaging for the DNA. So you're trying to away from canola oil, vegetable oil, all of that out. If you want to cook high temperature, it's avocado oil. If you want to use your salad, cold pressed virgin olive oil. That's for your salad. Olive oil is not used for frying. Keep in mind that if you heat it up before over the boiling point when you need to fry it, become toxic for you. Even though it's natural, but it can turn into toxins. So that's why you always have to be mindful what you're eating, what you consume. Certain things might be simple, or it's made of natural ingredients. But what those ingredients were exposed to or down to before they become this food that I'm eating, is it still healthy and safe to eat? Unfortunately, a lot of foods that we're consuming not really good for consumptions. They're good for selling points, they're good to be addicted to, they're high in sugar, and so they keep us to come back to them, but we have to be mindful what we eat. Fruits, oranges, figs, berries. So for example, when I did the 1 month without processed sugar, figs was my best treat. Dried figs and dates was amazing substitutes. They do have high content in sugars as a fruit, so you don't have to overindulge them, but is great because you get one, two. First of all, you're not gonna eat too much. They're not in a condensed form, so and you already stuffed, you're already good. And that's one part. So you're already limiting the amount of sugar you consume. And and same goes for any other fruits. For example, oranges are great. Orange juice not so great. Orange juice has the same amount in a cup of orange juice, same amount of sugar. Yes, naturally cured sugar, but same amount as in a Coca-Cola can. It's also still like about between 25 and 35 grams of sugar in the orange juice.
But is it better to eat the fresh orange itself, just the?
That's where I was going with.
Oh,
Always get the orange because to make a cup of orange juice, you need like 3-4 oranges. And usually, I don't remember even myself that I like oranges eating more than 2. So you're always gonna consume more and you're gonna get that level of satisfaction and consumption much higher and faster before than you're doing processed. That's one of the reasons why we say processed food is not good for you. Certain processed food is great, but if we just blindly follow it, we can get ourselves in problems.
My mother used to say that the white of the orange are all the vitamins, and my son doesn't agree with that.
I would not agree with that as well.
You don't think the white should be?
No, it's like, it's the same thing that if you're saying the good person is a good only in the brain and the rest is bad. It's a whole. Combination, same as an egg, same as an egg. Somebody like they were trying to see like for a longer time. Oh, you have to eat only egg whites. Egg yolks is bad for you. There's too much cholesterol. But actually, no, because within an egg, it neutralizes each other. So the whole egg is good for you. Plus, you can eat it every morning. I usually, if I do breakfast, I usually have 2 or 3 eggs. And it's perfectly fine. Just make sure it's high quality, if possible, organic, and that's it. That's all you have to be concerned of. It's natural product, it's not over modified. And that's okay sometimes to eat whole. Certain products you should not eat the peel, obviously, but in general, there's no specific thing, like if you need to isolate, for example, when they're processing certain things into minerals to drive the products. So certain things will have more concentration. For example, in the peel, it could be concentration on one element, and the rest will be more concentrated in the rest of the fruit. So that could be like explanation why she might that though. But I would not say where's vitamin C more in orange, in the peel or in the fruit itself. So food to avoid, great topic. So vegetable oils, as it was said before, processed food, when it's super processed, when we're talking about foods that you cannot do in your kitchen. Even though like you're processing food, you're cooking it, you have to be mindful. That's why you want to select the best oil, the proper oil for the job. If you're frying it, if you're baking it, or if you're just mixing the salad, that's also processing of the product. But it's like mild, very little, and you can do it in the kitchen. It's still, and you consume it. But when you have a super processed food that have a shelf life of like 2-5 years, that's a food to be aware of. It's better than no food, obviously, but it does have a trade-off. When you consume it, it has an effect on your body because of the additional element being added or things being done. So, for example, donut. What's bad with the donut? Regular donut, as we would think, it's some dough, baked, cooked, fried, and with the sugar. Okay, what's better with the donut? No, unfortunately, when we're talking about buying the donut from Dunkin' Donuts or any other place, they going so much more things that you're not going to be able to even create in your kitchen to reproduce. It's not the same donut, but made. So they needed to do it in a completely different process. They looking how to lower the productions cheaper. So they're using elements that could be toxic. Yes, they're saying within a level, but when we're talking about we slightly over 30, as I like to say, it's already accumulated in the body not always able to clean the foreign bodies. And then we asking, oh, why this hurts, why that hurts, why that stiff, why this hurt? Because your body accumulates and sometimes being affected by the things we were eating through the life. Because you would say, hey, I ate this all life, why is it bad? Because first of all, it's no longer the same thing 20 years from now. That's a cereal that you were buying 20 years ago, Captain Crunch, and right now. It's completely different cereals if you're gonna get in content. The content table is gonna be much bigger. That's the thing I want to bring your attention to. Margarines or buttery substitutes. Sometimes simple butter is much healthier than the substitute. It's most of the time, but then also keep in mind, if you're gonna eat the butter every night and you're not gonna be active, no wonder you're gonna gain weight. It's not because the butter bad, it's just you mismanaged the use of butter. Food to avoid, so excessive salts. High sodium can be led to calcium loss. So you see things, if you're having an excess, it's not only your blood pressure gonna be high, it's not only you're gonna have a swollen legs, I'm sorry, also affects your bones. Sugary drink, high sugar can negatively impact calcium absorption. So certain things, when you have too much of them in the blood, they will affect and they will store the resources from the good things and will not them be absorbed. Because it's like, hey, if you think I'm gonna drink this Coke, but I'm gonna eat an apple, does not cancel out. You simply cannot do that trick. Caffeine. I'm not sure if we all, but I do love my coffee.
You just filled me with this one.
An energy drink. So excessive caffeine can can affect the calcium absorption. So coffee is a diuretic. It stimulates you to lose water. So if you drink coffee,
Okay.
especially in Europe, you always having a given a water cup with the coffee, so you can balance out the water loss. Here it doesn't happen so often. It's like happen only in a few places. Majority you're getting like 20-ounce coffee. Have a nice day. So you have to catch up with the water to make sure you first balance out the water balance in the body. And also, if you do it more than once a day, that started to affect your bone mineralization. Because you're losing water, and as you're losing water, you're not gaining, it takes with the minerals, so that will affect the bones. High protein diets. So we just spoke about, hey, you need to eat protein. But if you eat too much of a good thing, not a good thing, excessive animal protein may lead to calcium loss. So everything is good when it's good, that's why we need to understand. And sometimes I would, not even sometimes, right now, it's more and more often I need telling my clients, hey, consult with your nutritionist, consult with your physicians. You need to adjust certain things, and not only for the people who's big, also for the people who's losing weight. A lot of people have a struggling getting weight, especially usually they have a terminal diagnosis. But those things are important. You need to do your best with normalizing your food for you. It's not one recipe straightforward. If there would be a case, I would bring you a recipe saying, hey, eat this, you'll be great. Therefore, it's not working like this. Everybody is different. So I'm just saying here, so be aware of these things. So you need to balance them out. Alcohol. Even though it's hard to me to say, but it can weaken bones, affect bone density. So more than one drink per day for women and 2 for men. So even this is a lot. You have to understand it does affect your neural system significantly as well, not only the bones. This data for bones, but by this time, if you have every drink every day, it affects the organs, it affects the nerve tissue. It's gonna have so much effects on your body, even though we feel like we need sometimes after work, but we have to restrain ourselves. And make sure we have normal, like exercise is usually the best thing to normalize yourself. Summary. Incorporate calcium and vitamin D rich food into your daily meals while avoiding excessive salt, sugar, and alcohol. So, bottom line, balance is a key. If you have any dietary restrictions or health conditions, consult with a healthcare provider or nutritionist for personalized advice, because everybody might need different recommendations for their diet. Depends on what medications they take, depends on what conditions they have. In certain things, like we might feel fine, I don't take excessive medications, why would it hurt for me to take the vitamin? Because there's could have been procedures done earlier in your life before, or anything like that can be affecting your vitamin absorption. Sometimes even when I was in school, I had that experience that my classmate, he high level, young, athletic, all of a sudden he has problem with the calcium absorption, even though his food is good. So it's not only about your age or what you're eating, it's also how it's been processed in your body. It is very important. Okay, lifestyle tips for bone health. We know we need to stay active. Motion is lotion. That's one of my favorite mantras. Weight bearing exercises, walking, dancing, gym classes, and physical therapy helps strengthen the bones. Not just one of them. Even though physical therapy is great, I would never say don't do anything else. Everything what you most time are gonna hear from me and my colleagues, do more at home. Do your homework. Go to the gym classes. I know RSS have a great classes here. Make sure you attend them. It's not just, hey, come to PT, you will be fine. No, it's not enough. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna tell something that was new for me, and I discovered like following one of the wealth and myofascial technique creator. When he recommends, like, hey, he was interviewing one of his clients and asking what he was doing. I was doing my PT, I was doing my homework. How many times you did your homework? Oh, once a day when I'm not on PT. He said, like, In certain cases, you need to do it 2 or 3 times a day. Even including the days when you're doing your PT or other activity. Everybody in a different state. That's where we come in. As a medical professionals, we're able to advise you, hey, your load is not adequate. A lot of people starting to get injured and starting to faint out when they retire. Not because they're lazy, not because they did something else. They don't, people don't realize that everyday activity, even the trips, gonna load your muscles, and that requires certain level of vitamins and energy from your food, and that's what the body absorbs. But as soon as you stop doing it, you start losing it. And you losing it even from one day in bed, you're already losing about 15% of the muscle mass. Like if you like lie down flat, you can lose, no, I'm sorry, not 15, 5% muscle mass. That's a lot. It takes weeks to gain.
To get it back.
Persistent, healthy person. So in those things, like activity is super, super important. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate activity each week. What does it mean? 150 minutes, not that things that you do. Oh, I went shopping, I went to Costco, that was a hell of a lot of trip. No, that's not enough. That meaning besides that, on top of everything. So it's another 2.5 hours. So 4. Avoid smoking and limit alcohol. Both can weaken bones and increase the risk of fractures. As we said, this lecture is mainly around the nutrition and bone specifically. It does a lot of other negative things. So we're just limiting it for the bones here. Stay hydrated. Water is crucial for overall health, including bone health. Regular checkups. Bone density test can assess your risk for osteoporosis. Remember, good nutrition is a cornerstone of maintaining strong bones. So nutrients have to be added. So you cannot just saying like, hey, I'm doing good on my diet. I went to a nutritionist. I'm great. Got an A+. That's all I'm doing for my bones. Not enough. You gotta work. You gotta put your exercise in. You gotta put your time into building it. You have to attack it from all the corners. Otherwise, it becomes the point that, okay, you're better on this side, but you're losing on the other sides. So, and you're not even making a dent. Okay. How long do we need to do things to make a difference? Some improvement in bone density, some improvements can be observed within 6 to 12 months. Starting a dedicated regimen of weight-bearing exercises and adequate nutrition, they go hand to hand. They have to be working, particularly calcium and vitamin D. So that's going to be regulated by your physician. Long-term changes, most significant changes in bone density typically takes 1 to 2 years, consistent effort and maintenance. That's a lot. And I do understand that, but you want to change something to the better, you have no better options. Don't put yourself in a position when everything being broken and like just breaks on its own. Unfortunately, when you have advanced osteoporosis, good enough to break a spine, all you need to do just sitting.
Wow.
And then all you start feeling annoying, constant pain. Unfortunately, we had those diagnoses. People come in and like chronic pain. We send them to the physicians to get the X-rays, fracture. What they did, nothing, sitting. So don't think if you're gonna just put the pillows all around you, you can avoid the fractures. As you know from prior presentations, unintentional injury is like top 2 injury risk, top 2 reasons for death in the adults over 67. Meaning, stood up, tripped, fell, injury, hospital, dead bound, death. I'm not here to scare. I'm here to bring it to your attention to make sure that you guys are aware. It's not enough just to put the pillows around yourself. You have to make sure you're coming it from all the sides. Osteoporosis treatment. For those undergoing medical treatment for osteoporosis, such as biphosphonates, measurable changes in bone density can be also seen within 1 to 2 years. So even medicational wise, it takes time. It's not that you got your fixed and you're good. It takes time until it works. Because it's only so much the body can process. It takes time for the body to absorb. It's a lot of work. Age, older adults may experience slower changes due to factors like hormonal changes and decreased bone remodeling capacity. Lifestyle, consistent exercises and balanced diet rich in bone healthy nutrients and avoiding smoking and excessive alcohol can positively influence your outcomes. So when we're talking about improving your bones, we're talking changing your lifestyle. Majority of the things when we see people with the chronic issues, they're usually happening because they keep repeating the same thing over and over. That's why it's very important to get it serious. Any problems, not even with bones, you need to start shifting your lifestyle. Because when we're talking with the older adults, it's mainly their lifestyle that got them there. Monitoring progress. So how do you know if you're getting better, if you're getting worse? Usually bone density typically assessed through the dual energy X-ray, so it's called also DEXA scan, which are usually recommended every 1 to 2 years in monitoring. Medical treatments, so there's the different medications. I don't want to go into too much details with them, but just for informational things that there's the medical treatments for that. But if you're in the medical program, it's important part. You continue to do your nutrition, you continue to do your exercises, you continue to participate in the activity. Otherwise, the medication works very little. So we're coming down to the point like, hey, I need to improve my lifestyle, I need to improve my nutrition, I need to improve my activity overall. Okay, keep in mind, sometimes that hormonal changes, especially postmenopausal women, they suffering a lot from the loss of the bone density. So that's usually where you're gonna come across the hormonal therapy. It's a thyroid, parathyroid, and thyroid hormonal substitutes that helps for the body to upkeep it. Men's are you less suffering from the osteoporosis, but they also, if there's a changes in the testosterone hormone, either due to disease or surgeries or anything like that, that's also being fixed with the hormonal medicine. And the same thing, nutrition, exercise, and load. Okay, general guidelines, frequency and duration. Aim for at least 30 minutes of weight-bearing exercise, at least 3 to 5 times per week. Weight-bearing meaning, it's not, I was carrying heavy bags out of the Walmart. That's not counting. It's you going, working with the weights in a gym or PT. If you haven't been to the gym or worked with weights before, do not go by yourself. You have to have either athletic trainer, better to be assessed. You can come for PT to get your assessment saying, my goal to be in the gym. Okay, we'll build you up for it. We'll teach you what you can do. Make sure to have the pictures of your gym that you want to work out in with us, and we're exactly going to write down the program, what you need for your gym. Type of exercises, weight-bearing exercises, activities make you work against gravity, such as walking, jogging. Do not jog unless you were allowed to. Because people starting to think, hey, I feel fine, let me start jogging. Doesn't last long usually. Jumping as well. So in your case, walking, if you were walking before, fine. Carefully make sure you look for the places where you walk, be aware of the weather, don't go walk in bad weather. Just because you need to fight your osteoporosis, because you can find other problems there. So make sure you're always walking and exercising in the safe places and secure places. Type of exercises, strength training, using weights or resistant bands to improve muscle strength and bone density. That's majority of the things that we do in the gym and also in the physical therapy, and that we can teach you how to properly do it, because if you do too heavy weights or too long, you can hurt your muscles or same bones as well. Balance and flexibility exercises, activities like physical therapy, yoga, tai chi can help prevent falls, which is crucial for maintaining bone health. We want to stress bones with the load, but we don't want to stress bones with the falls. Usually not everybody can sustain. Time frame changes, also same, 6 to 12 months, 1 to 2 years to form more significant changes. So what specific, I wanted also to make sure that you're more familiar with the exercises and if you're coming for the physical therapy assessment, you are clear what to ask. Because I believe the education is very important and you need to understand what's going on with you and around you. So walking, simple, effective way to promote bone health. Aim for brisk walks for 30 minutes most of the times. If you can handle more, great. If it's not 30 minutes, start within a half a block. If you feel comfortable with that. Make sure if you need a cane or walker, you have it with you. But also, if you have a walker, then probably, and you can handle more than 30 minutes, it's a good idea to do more. But make sure you can take a break if you need one. Dancing, so engaging with your friends. Safe dancing, don't start doing backflips, please. That's not good for you. Stair climbing. When you, as I said to me before, safe, clear path, no obstructions. You have a good fixed rail that you can use as a support, and a cane in the other hand. Stair climbing is a great idea, especially if you're using it every day. I mentioned it in the prior visits. People who live in a two-story house where their bedroom is on the second floor and the kitchen on the first live longer.
Really?
Yep. Statistically, they do. Because they use stairs, they upkeep the muscles more. They have to work harder. Body weight squats, so stand fit, shoulder width apart. Lower your body as a sitting on the back of a chair, keeping the knees bent, toes, repeat 10 to 15 reps. Hey, I'm not feeling I can walk. I'm not feeling that good to go outside. It's raining. No problem. Do like 20, 40 sit-ups from the chair. Sit up, stand down, sit up, stand down, stand up, stand down. That's it. And like do it multiple times. It's a little thing. Doesn't require anything additional for you, but you can do it. Resistance band exercises, so different variations, curls when you having the band under your foot, you curling it, you pulling it. There's a variation, there's a ton of variation of them can be done. So it's a anchor in the chest press, anchor behind you and press forward. So basically you're taking a band, fixing it to your wall or between the door crack, and you're making sure it's not going to be hitting you in the back, and you can push it forward. You can pull it this way. You can pull it this way. Even though you're still exercising your shoulders, you're building up the muscles, you're building up the strength of the bones as well. Lunges, so step forward with one leg, lowering your body until both knees are bent about 90 degrees. If you can do 90 degrees, not a problem. You can do just a little bit of the load. I'm not sure if the online people will be able to see. Let me just show the lunges. So mini lunges, it's going to be like this. You can always put the chair next to yourself like this and just do mini lunges. That's a great activation for your muscle, great activation for your bones. Just make sure that you do it in a safe manner. If you're not sure what you can do at home, you can always come in. As I said, we always ask about what is your goal, what you want to achieve with the physical therapy. So we're going to tell you, hey, no problem. What's your goal? I want to be able to do my exercises for the bone health at home. No problem. Let's get you that. We'll teach you what it is. We'll teach you how to do it properly and safe, and you're going to be able to do it. Okay, balance and flexibility, Tai Chi. Never participated with the Tai Chi, but usually you find the group. I know there's a group here in the park, at least used to be.
He doesn't hear attention.
Especially here, RSS has the Tai
It should
Chi,
be 4
please
times a
join.
month, but now it's only 2. I don't know what we should put it on there.
So join it, attend it, make sure you present that you need it. So you guys want to make sure that you're using it. You cannot just, if you're having it, RSS doing a great job, like to make sure that you guys have different type of activities, please use it. I know some of them might feel like a burden, but as I said, activity is one of the things to make sure you are active and healthy. Yoga is great, flexibility. Don't think that yoga or Tai Chi alone can fix everything. It's only one of activity, because I had a lot of people coming in. Hey, I'm going, like even younger people within their like late 30s. They come in. I have a problem, but I don't know why I'm doing Pilates and yoga every other day, mix and match. But I'm doing it for 3 years. I'm so active and everything. Why do I have this pain? It's not always one thing can fix everything. As I said, sometimes people come to physical therapy. We cannot fix everything. We're gonna tell you, hey, this doesn't work. We need additional things. We need you to see this doctor, that doctor, or to do this. Single leg stand. So it's simply single leg stand. Just always make sure you have. I prefer to have a chair like countertop, anything that you can hold on with the opposite leg. Don't lift it super high because it's gonna throw you away. Just a little bit. Let me just show it here. So, like this. While holding, you lift it up 10 seconds, great. If you can't, you can just keep the opposite side on your toe. And that's gonna be enough to support you. And that's already a little bit of a strengthening. Everybody is very different. So we can use the same exercise, but with a different instruction to different people. Modified plank, it's a little bit too advanced, so I'm not gonna go into detail. Single leg lift, so you're simply lying down, your legs straight, you're just lifting one leg. What I would recommend to have one leg bent while other one's lifting, so to decrease the load from the lower back. All the new exercises, please consult with us. PTs or your physician. PTs are usually gonna know a little bit more about exercises. Physicians know a lot as well. So whomever you can get first to, like, before you start doing something, always consult. It's not gonna hurt. It might be a little bit annoying to do it first, but then eventually it's gonna be better for you. Because you might come across there's certain things you might not supposed to do or not good for you. Stay hydrated, drink lots of water, listen to your body. If you feel pain, stop, don't push. Notify the physician or PT or whoever you're working on consulting about your exercises. If somebody tells you no pain, no gain, unless in the method of a joking form, that's something that not to follow. Certain things are painful, certain things are not. Pain is very different to each time. So you want to make sure you are properly assessed and actually be sure that you're not doing something that hurts you, because usually pain is one of the first thing to alert us. But yes, there's a good things that we need to do that painful, but you need to be making sure that you're talking to a qualified person about that. What else we have? Resources, there's a bunch of resources attached into the form. Questions, please.
I just want to ask about the nutrients and the vitamins. Our old doctor retired and he used to do the blood test to check the vitamins, all the vitamins. But now, how can you find a doctor, a nutritionist does that? Or you have to
So
ask your
you
doctor?
generally go to your physician and ask, hey, I want a full panel,
What do you call it?
full panel.
Full panel, not a
Full
single-
panel to make sure that like I'm not missing any vitamins or anything like that, and that should be seen there. And like, hey, please explain me what the result is. That's usually you talking to. And then hey, you might need this, and that's your conversation with your physician. Nevertheless, even if you're talking to a physician, I strongly suggest to find a good nutritionist around you.
Do they do
because-
blood test and nutrition or no?
I don't think so. I don't think so, but they still gonna be able to give you valuable inputs in your diet, in your food selection, because it comes down to your food selection. You might eat the thinking like good things, as I said, cereal that we accustom or recommended to eat, but it's not really the best options for you.
No, we
Yes.
have here Tabitha, that she's the technology, and she introduced the Yuka app. And now I see that most cereal is not good, but then they give you an alternative that is better. So that's what I've been doing.
So speak with a nutritionist. That's the best thing, not only about one thing, about the whole food that you consume. Hey, I like this. Is it good? Is it bad? Can I substitute it with something else? When should I eat it? If you really want a sugar, put it on the mid of the day, not beginning of the day. If you eat sugary breakfast, you're gonna have a crash mid of the day. Raises blood pressure, raises anxiety, raises like everything, like you feel uncomfortable. If you're able to concentrate your insulin spikes, that's how you're able to limit your mood swings. That's how you limit your energy. That's how you can balance yourself throughout the day. The food is medicine as well. It's being underappreciated.
So if I have to give up my coffee, what do I do to stay up and to?
Get a good organic coffee. First of all, when you stop drinking coffee, you're gonna understand that the water is the most energizing drink.
But your body misses the coffee.
Misses, that's a key word, but doesn't need it.
You feel it, you feel the difference.
First 2 days,
Don't you?
I did.
You like coffee.
I like coffee, but I was able to give it up.
Oh, you gave it up?
Yeah, I still do it. I do it for just a pleasure. For example, when I don't have breakfast, I just do coffee and MCT oil. So it just to keep me like 3-4 o'clock.
So you say that avocado oil is the best oil to use?
Yes, for the
Avocado oil.
frying or cooking on a high temperature. For the salads, is a virgin olive oil is one of the best.
So the vegetable oil is no good at all.
Nope, it's mainly technical oil. If you need to grease something, you can use vegetable oil. Yeah, so like if you need your sugars, mid of the day is best. Why? Because it's expected that you mid of the day you're most active. So if you consume some sugar, you use it up right away.
Okay.
So it's not going to fat storage. So that's one point. If you avoid sugary breakfast. If you're able to avoid coffee, great. But if you really, really want it, get the best coffee you can. Just have it one time a day, and that's it.
So what is?
Don't have like 5-6 cups of coffee
What
throughout
is
the day.
the difference with the best coffee and the cheap brands? Is still coffee?
Burning. So medium burn.
Ah,
Don't have dark roast, like roasting, like medium roast.
right.
When they dark roast, that's also releasing a lot of carcinogens. So that's why, that's one point, that's to make sure they also not adding another flavors or anything like that, because usually those are toxic as well.
Do you have any questions, Connie?
No, not at the moment. I'm just looking at something I've been doing because I can see there. The Mayo Clinic website, and I remember that my parents, they
Just want to
swore.
go to a meeting in a minute. Do you have any papers on you?
That's how you can reach us, but the presentation is gonna be recorded. So you can ask the RSS stuff.
Who do I ask?
Barbara, whom the person who can ask for the presentation?
We're gonna have it on the RSS YouTube channel, but if you would like to ask me for it, and then Gleb, are you gonna, can you share with me your
will send it to you.
presentation?
Yeah, I will send it to you.
Okay,
I'll-
that would be great. And then if somebody wants it, let me know and I can email it to you.
Could I get a hard copy at all?
Yes,
Uh,
I can print off a hard copy for you from my, I'll find a way to get a hard copy to you.
All right, we're over here.
yes,
Yeah, all right.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. If I'm not there, I'll ask somebody at the office to print it off for you.
Okay, when should I, when do you think roughly it'll be available?
I'm gonna be in on, I'm planning right now to be in on Monday. So,
Okay.
and of course, whenever Gleb sends me the presentation, the PowerPoint.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Barbara?
Okay, and who's that?
Stanley Aronoff, I'm just a member.
Oh, hey, Stanley, welcome.
Okay, thank you, dear.
All right, great.
What's this for?
Okay, Barbara, I will send it to you. Any questions
All
from
right,
online?
thank you. Yes,
Okay.
There's no questions.
Anybody else? Okay,
I was just gonna say, I remember, that my parents, when I was a child, were on the Mayo Clinic diet.
My clinic is a very old organization, it's with a good record. That's why I use it.
still goes on.
And that this is still
They're very good resource overall, very layman's term, very straightforward, so that's why it's went into the resources, because I used certain information, so,
From them.
yeah.
I have this, burning at night when I fall asleep, and sometimes it wakes me up and like sticking needle pain in my legs.
Mhm.
What do you think about that? Do you think-
First, evaluation, start. Come in for the evaluation so we can check you out. Second of all, could be multiple things, so it could be certain minerals missing, because it like, that's why you have sporadic firing of the nerve. Could be bulging compression on the spine, if it's both legs at the same time. Could be dehydration, as simple as dehydration,
It needs
so
to be one leg.
if it's one leg, okay, more likely to be like more with the spine related. Or it could be something with the peripheral nerve entrapment. So it's all depends on the positioning, also when and how often. If it's every night, then it's one thing. So a couple of tests can be done even manually without excessive things. Just a reminder, physical therapy, you can start without the prescription unless your specific plan requires. To know that, just give us a call and we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody. Barbara,
Okay,
any
bye-bye.
questions?
That's you learned a lot, young lady.
Nothing in the chat.
All right,
Oops, nothing in the chat, so I think you're okay.
okay, thank you very much. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you so much. I'll look for the PowerPoint, and I'll talk to you soon about the next one.
Yep, perfect, thank you.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
Computer here, right?
Hmm?
I'm just gonna close the computer here, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. I think somebody will take care of, but yeah, that's fine. If you could, that would be great. Thanks.
Okay, good, thank
All
you.
right, bye-bye.